Hi, I'm so happy to have you join me today on this episode of Full Circle. This is an episode close to my heart because I have my beautiful sister, Jenny, calling me all the way from California. Want to say hi?
Yes, hi.
Okay, full disclaimer, we call each other Bobs and it's short for baboy, and in Tagalog that means pig, and we call each other that because we used to be super chubby, but that's just what we call each other, so you'll hear it from time to time. Okay, well, without further ado, let's get started. Bobs, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Sure, I guess. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny, and I'm Joanna's older sister. We are 8 years apart, but we're very, very close. I live in Oxnard, California. I have a 7-year-old little boy, and I live with my family. But yeah, I think that's what I just want to share for now.
That's great. Well, I'm glad that you talked about Edgar for like 2 seconds because that's kind of our main topic. We're going to talk about motherhood. Bum, bum, bum. So I get to have some sisterly advice. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, this is a real conversation that we're going to have. But first of all, how old were you when you had Edgar?
I was 27 when I had Edgar.
Dude, that's so crazy. That's me now.
That's like your age.
And he's in March, so I would already be 3 months pregnant
Yeah.
or something. That is crazy. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about it head on. So Israel and I had a conversation about this not too long ago, and the conversation started with, what do you want to do? What do you like to do? What do you want to be? And I'm
Wait,
still
this is you guys
discovering.
asking each other.
Yeah, no, it kind of started as I got to figure out what I want to do with, like, I'm 27. I was kind of having that, not midlife crisis, but I'm like, okay, I'm here. What am I going to do now?
Really?
You know, I feel like time is running short, you know? And so he just asked me that. And I'm barely here at 27 across the world, moved away from you guys, and I'm barely finishing university. And I don't mean to say that in a way where it feels late, but at 27, I thought I was going to be having a kid and my life, you know, somewhat together. Life's just never what you expected.
Yeah.
So anyways, he asked me that, and I feel like I'm still discovering that question. I'm just still trying to figure out what I like to do, what makes me happy, what career would be my happiness, basically. And it ended up in tears because it was the first time I really sat and said, I'm just scared to be a mom, in the sense of it just came from me wanting to be established in my life. I felt like I need to have something that's mine and my name, because I understand that being a mom is a huge sacrifice of yourself.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just how I see it. And I think a lot of 27-year-olds or people my age are probably thinking the same thing of like, I would love to be a mom, but I'm terrified because I understand you're giving also a lot up. You're just giving, I don't know.
But I have a question for that.
Okay.
Well, if you guys didn't know, my sister, when she was here, helped me so much by raising Edgar. Like she's pretty much like Edgar's second mom. So my question is, you like kind of thinking, being scared or fearful about being a mom? Were you thinking of like what your experience was like with Edgar, like helping raise Edgar?
No, not in that sense. I think I just like, I love Edgar. I love that I'm literally his favorite aunt, and I could say that because everyone knows it.
Yeah. There's no denying.
But no, I think it just comes from everyone now, or even watching mom and dad or watching other moms in my life who encourage, figure out what you want to do first. And I think that's where I find the pressure of, yeah, no, let me become established into something. Let me, like, I also do, and I'm sure everyone feels the same who plans to be a mom. I don't know, actually, I can't say everyone, but I
have a tissue ready.
Just, okay, well, at the end of the conversation between Israel and I, he said, I don't want you to feel like being a mom isn't an accomplishment, because it is. Even if it ends up not being, you know, Joanna the business owner, Joanna the podcaster, Joanna the you name it. But for me, I felt like, well, I feel like it's the only thing that may just ground me as a mom, because watching mom or watching you, it's, you know, I'm barely watching mom come into herself as a person.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that you guys go through. And I watch a lot of moms go through that and feel like they're trying to find themselves. And we talked about this. You even said like, I just want to find myself again. Who is Jenny?
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like I need to establish something so that I'm grounded and I'm like, well, apart from my kids, which I'm very proud of, or my family, I've also built this. And it's not just for me, of course, but my kids can look at it and be like, this is what my mom did. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Wait.
I'm afraid of not doing anything.
Yeah. Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Okay. You're 27.
Yes.
You're not gonna have it all figured out right now. Like, for example, you both decide you want to have a kid right now because your time is ticking or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna have it all figured out. You're gonna figure it out as you go. And I think like it's good that your kid will be able to see that you are a work in progress as you're raising your child, because when they're older, that is going to be what's going to happen. Like, you don't also want them to establish and make them feel like, oh, my parents had it figured out because, and they had me. I feel like, because I've been thinking about this too, at least for me, I don't want Edgar to feel pressured that he has to have it all figured out before having to like start his family, because like you said, mom is like what, 55, and she's barely figuring herself out. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you don't have to have your career figured out, but at least you have to know who you are when you have your child. You know what I'm
Did you feel like at 27 you knew who you were when you had Edgar?
When I was 27, and honestly, I'm still figuring myself out, because prior to having Edgar, I feel like I'm barely like getting to know myself. And because when I had Edgar, I was ending a relationship, right? You already know this. But I'm going to tell your audience that when I was in a 10-year relationship when I got pregnant. And when I was in that relationship, I was 18 when I got into the relationship. And when I was 18, I didn't know who I was. Even when I was like 26, I still didn't know who I was. My identity was built with that partner, in a sense of like what the music that I listened to, and the music that he liked, the music that he used to like, the stuff that he used to do, his friends were like my friends. So I felt like my identity was his identity, in a sense. And so when that fell apart, it's like, oh my gosh, who is Jenny? Like, who am I? And so I felt like when I had Edgar, I had that period of being single, and I felt like, 2019 is like, oh my gosh, like I'm figuring out who I was. Like, that was like the happiest year so far. It's because I was on my own, and I actually genuinely enjoyed my own company. Like, I took myself on coffee dates. I took myself like, like just driving by myself and figuring out like what I really wanted to do, because I was by myself. Like, I didn't have that other person to worry about, oh, what are they going to want? Like, I didn't have to compromise what I wanted to do or what I wanted to feel, because I was thinking of what the other person was going to feel, or what the other person was also wanting to do. And so at the moment, I was really getting to know who I was. And I felt grounded, and I felt happy, because it's like, for the first time, like, this is what Jenny wants to do. And this is what Jenny wants to feel, or this is what Jenny feels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So do you feel like now you've found yourself? Like, if I were to ask you, who are you? What, would you have an answer?
I can tell you that I'm a child of God. That's who I am. Like, I'm building my foundation with that. Like, I'm not like, oh, Jenny, the financial advisor, or Jenny, the like, I am Jenny, the mother, but most of all, like, I'm Jenny, like the daughter of God. That's what I would say.
That's such a good reminder, because I'm being humbled right now, I think. Because you know how I just said, like, oh, it's not Joanna the business owner, it's not Joanna the podcaster. Yeah. I didn't even think first I'm God's child. Yeah. And that's very important to me. But I didn't think about it that way. And maybe that's where all the pressure comes from, because I'm trying to be like, okay, so since I've been here, my prayers are, okay, Lord, you've granted me what my heart desires. Like, this is something I've prayed for, and it's been on my heart for so long. Yeah. Now what do I do with it? Because I don't want to waste it. And I think that's where now I feel a bit of a pressure. Yeah. But maybe that spirit's just coming from, like, I'm putting so much pressure, because I kid you not, I was sobbing. And I think I still think about that conversation, because when Israel said, like, if you were to be just a mom, like, that is an accomplishment. And for some reason in my heart, I was like, that is not enough. Like, and it made me feel bad because I felt very selfish, I guess. And the way that I think I described it is like, I'm sacrificing a lot and blah, blah, blah. But I know there's a lot of happiness in being a mom. They always say you're never ready. Like, where were you at in your life at 27? Were you scared?
Are you kidding me? I was scared ishless. Okay. Like, I was scared ishless. I didn't know what to do. Like, it's true when they say they don't give you a manual of what to do, because you never know how your kid is going to be. Everyone is so different. Even like, I didn't get advice from mom on what to do. I felt like we all just figured it out as we went. And I say we because I didn't do this all by myself. But yes, I was scared, and no, I was not prepared. Like I said, I didn't plan to be a single mom, like that was not in on my books to be, oh, I'm going to be a single mom. But where I was in my life, I was getting out of a relationship. But at that time, health wise, I was already diagnosed with my disease, but I was fine. Like, I did not have any symptoms. Like, I was working out. I felt like I was healthy. And then career wise, I felt like I was building what I thought I wanted to do. And so even when you're 27, you still don't know what you want to do, because there's so many things that could change.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to have a plan. I think it's good to be like, for me, I feel like I'm such a type A that, like, I want to plan it months ahead, years ahead. Like, I need it to be perfect. And I
She
feel
has
like
like a
that's you
billion.
too. That's why you have so much pressure, because you want
Yeah.
it. You want a picture. You have like this picture, this big picture in your head, and it's like, this has to go this way. But I've learned, and I feel like as a mom, this teaches you learn that you need to be fluid. Because if you can't accept that things can change, then you will, like, literally fall apart, and it's hard to rebuild when you fall apart, like, completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That kind of prompts me to ask the next question, because you kind of talked about your health and your diagnosis.
Right.
And I mean, if you want to share what it is, because you do have a lot of limitations, and that's up to you to share with the listeners. But, how do you get through those tough days? Because I see you and I watch you, and it is something that I won't know and I don't have a full understanding of. But just for anyone that kind of struggles, and your struggles are very different, and you're also a single mom too on top of that.
Yeah.
So what is it that helps you?
Yeah, I think really having a community and support is such a big deal when it comes to the tough days, because, like, when you were here, you were such like a big help. You and Israel were such a big help. Asel, mom, and Edgar's grandma are such a big help, because when I need help, it's never a no. Like, I've never heard a no from you guys. It's always like, okay, yes, I will help. Or if it was not now, it's like, okay, I can't help in this way, but let's figure it out. So I feel having that community is really a big help. And now I feel like I'm more limited because you're not here. Mima's not always here. Asel is like moved away, and it's like really just mom when she's working all the time. And so I feel bad asking for help. And so you toughen up. There's days when it's like, I have like so much wounds that, like, oh, I still don't want to get up, like, because it puts me in a bad mood when I'm in pain. So when you are physically in pain, you just don't want to do anything. But if you're a mom, you have to push yourself to, like, do it. For me, the hardest part is not letting Edgar see how much pain I'm in, because I don't want him to feel bad. Do what you need to do. And when your kid is gone, then that's when you just let it all out and, like, break apart, cry about it, whatever. And then you compose yourself and you move on.
Yeah.
That's like a daily thing for me. I pray about it. And when I pray about it, like, it really gives me strength. Yeah, having that village is very important.
Yeah. I'm down bad, bro. I miss you guys so bad.
Oh, I miss you too. I can't believe we still haven't shed a tear.
I know. I'm shocked. Maybe it's because we're on camera right now.
I know. Too much pressure.
At what point did you stop being scared?
I'm
You're
still scared. But you're scared
Yeah.
and you do it anyway.
Wow.
Just like, like just, and I feel like you need to give yourself credit too, because the leap that you did going all the way like across the country to like chase your dream, it is, yeah, like I could tell how scared you were, but you did it anyway. So you should be proud of yourself too.
Yeah.
Like, and I always tell Edgar this because you know how Edgar is sometimes like, I'm scared to do this, I'm scared to do that. And then before I used to say, don't be scared. It's not scary. But who am I to say that if that's what he feels, if he's scared, then let him be scared. So
Yeah.
now what I say is, yes, okay, it's scary. I know you're scared, but you do it anyway. And then I tell him like the times that like he was scared to do something and then he was encouraged to do it and how fulfilled he felt. I just remind him, it's like, look, you were scared to do this, but you did it that time. Do you remember? And he's like, yeah. Okay, then do it again. Do it again this time.
Yeah.
Do it scared. And he's like, okay. And then he does it. Yes, I'm still scared. I'm never not scared.
Okay, that's good to know. And it's understandable. I think this world is kind of scary regardless. So
Yeah, especially.
especially now, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And how are you even getting through that? Because that's also something that a lot of my peers are saying. They're just like, why would I raise a child now? Like, why would I have a kid here? And for me, I heard this thing where it's like God wouldn't put you in the time frame that he did if you weren't needed. And I think that's kind of what pushes me through. But because I'm not a mom yet, I too get those feelings of like, it's just really scary to raise a child now. How do you even go through that?
Wait, are you asking me this because thoughts of being a mom, is that what's been occupying your mind lately?
Yes, it's weird.
And
And I
it's gotta
talked to
be like
someone,
a reason why God has put those thoughts in you.
you know what? And maybe it's because Israel has said, I would have a kid in Italy. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't even think about that,
Yeah.
And I talked to someone here. She's older, and we had this conversation of finding your passions and what you like to do. And when we talked, she even said, oh, I had all of these plans, but then I became a mom, and now I'm older. But being a mom is such a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
But I did have to put my life aside for a bit,
Yeah.
and now she said in full circle, she's doing things that she loves, and she's planning to go back to an old job that she loves to do. And so I brought up the conversation that I had with Israel, and then she held my hand and she's like, the way that I took it was, you may be afraid, but maybe there's a reason. And that freaked me out because I'm so not ready. Like, that's how I feel. I'm genuinely so scared because I didn't make the move to not do anything with my bachelor's degree. Like, now I feel like I'm fighting things, and I'm like, I literally said I would never go to a university and go into debt. Well, here I am.
Yeah.
Like at university, and I have student loans. And now it's like, okay, well, I have to repay these loans somehow. And I do want to get established in a career. And being a mom, like I don't want to raise my children while I'm trying to pay off these debts. That's scary to me too, because we saw that growing up.
Yeah.
Just mom working these two jobs and dad working and then losing a job and then working again and trying to figure out how they can both provide for the family or at least give all that they have. And I that's maybe there's just, I don't know, like trauma there where I don't want my children to feel that. And that's why I'm like, I need to make sure that I'm okay.
Yeah.
So that they're okay.
Yeah, of course. And I think I do understand like your thought process because I feel like personality wise we're kind of the same, but it's like it has to be perfect.
Bruh, we're literally the same.
Literally the same people. But sometimes learn from me, okay? Honestly, I feel like dang, like you talking like that makes me feel like older siblings really get the hard end of things because I'm thinking now too, like as a parent, Edgar is my eldest, right? Like I mean my only one, but he's the eldest. But it's like he's like a practice, it's like I don't have it all figured out. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is I always think that as a parents always try to like do what's best for their kids, even if it's maybe not the best in other people's eyes. But as a
Yeah.
parent, I always try to do what's best for my kids. But for Edgar, maybe he doesn't think that way because it's not in my shoe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even if I think I'm doing my best with Edgar, it's probably not the best. You go for it anyway. And then when you have your second child, it's like, okay, I know a little better. Now I can do the things that I didn't do with my older child. And then when you have your other child, it's like, okay, I know better. You just get better with experience. But as like
Yeah.
an oldest, you were like the guinea pig because your parents never knew what to do. So it's
Yeah.
like they were practicing on you somehow.
Yeah.
And when you have your own child, it's going to be like that. I've learned it's like you need to be fluid because it's not always going to be how you picture it to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know how we type A's got.
You honestly,
We just gotta be fluid.
you just learn as you go. And the other day when we were talking about our dreams with like the nuns.
Yeah.
And when you were talking right now and you're saying that you're being so fearful about all these things, and the nun in your dream said it's about perspective, right? Isn't that what did the nun say?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so for everyone that doesn't know, I was telling my sister, I journaled like 2 years ago about a dream of a nun. It's a scary nun with red eyes. And I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but I get kind of freaked out. Like, that's a really creepy picture. And she kept trying to come closer to me. And there was this man. I don't know who this man was, but he was there. And every time she got close, he would protect me. And at one point, I guess she just bypassed the man and she was like straight at my face. And I just was frozen in fear. And she just said, "Don't be afraid, change your perspective." And as soon as she said that, my fear melted away and I wasn't afraid of her. But yeah, I was telling my sister this and I freaked out because she was like, "I had a dream about a nun." And there was a guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're literally the same person.
Seriously. But that also just made me think of maybe you haven't had the realization yet that that's maybe, because for me, when you said that, I felt the lesson was like right away perspective. And you having fear of like being a mom, maybe you need to be fluid with your perspective a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
Because
so.
I think what we're talking about fears and all that's always going to be in us. Like we're always going to have that fear. You're already doing it too. Like you're already having the courage to do it anyway. And you're already having the courage to face it anyway. And I think when you're going through the journey, you don't know that you are facing your fear until you're at the end of it.
Yeah.
And
No, and honestly, I think also the film that I had to record and the perspective that I had to think of losing a child. So I told you, I was like, I thought about you and I cried, I bawled. But I meant it in more so. Well, I already told you one of the reasons, but it was also there was just these people on my Instagram that we know who also lost a baby. And when I had to just act it out, when they made that AI baby, Israel and I put together, I was like, this is weird. Like, um, it's like, it's probably going to look like this. You know what I mean? And to have to get into that mindset of losing a child, like that was so emotionally, it kind of messed with me for a bit.
But why is that their first thought? Why couldn't it be like, oh my gosh, Israel and I are going to start building our dream life. It's going to be so beautiful. Why can it be that the first thought?
I don't know. I have an issue of thinking the worst, all the time instead of having a better perspective, which is funny because people here have said, "Joanna, you're so positive. I love how positive you are." And it's amazing because since I've been here, people have been telling me things that I've been working on and they've kind of just said like, "Oh, Joanna, you're this and that." And I'm like, whoa, I've been working on that for a very long time. I didn't realize that I was already embodying what I have been journaling and praying about. I hear how you say you don't really know until you're walking through it or you're at the end of it.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask a couple more questions.
Wait, can I drink my coffee?
Yeah, drink your coffee. Dude, I almost was going to get a coffee so that it was like we were getting coffee together.
I know, right?
Like across the table. What is a lesson that you've learned and would love to share being a mom?
A lesson being a mom? Oh gosh. What can it just be like a lesson? Well, it's because, okay, I've learned to just pray about everything. Like, it's so true what the scripture says that with prayer and supplication, you present your prayers to God. And I think it's in Philippians where it's like, do not be anxious, but with prayer and supplication, you present,
Mm.
something like that. And
Mhm.
I honestly would say that would be like the biggest lesson is because, okay, like I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about myself. I could say that I was like an atheist prior to discovering God. And so prayer for me is I'm such like a baby with my walk with God because it's not a default for me to pray. I've never been a prayer. I've never thought that prayer would be a part of my daily life. And so to be at this point, to now my default is prayer. I wake up and it's like, oh, thank you, God, you woke me up. And then just talking to God, but like every moment, like literally my thoughts is, God, what is happening? Or like, God, like my thoughts like, God, I'm so pissed. Like I just like talk to him. So I think, yeah, like going from being an atheist to now to pray and talk to God that was like the biggest lesson, at least that I've learned for myself. And
Yeah.
I say that because that's like really the foundation of my day, the foundation of like my life, the foundation of me raising my child, the foundation of me coping with my disabilities and limitations, the foundation of me dealing with people, like
Yeah.
relationships. That is my foundation. Is like
Or
for
like driving.
yeah, seriously, pregnant. That's when I feel like I lost myself because my identity, which was my partner, I lost that. I'm
Mm.
having to building from scratch when it's like, then who am I? So I'm like trying to figure out who I was while I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And so I think, yes, I was an atheist, but I feel like God was already like he threw those boulders for me to like really like go for him, trying to look for a purpose. And And so I think when I went to church with you that day, I don't remember the first time I went to church, but I remember the first couple of times I went to church, I'm always like crying because it's like a realization. Oh my gosh, like I have to go through this hard stuff for me to like get to you. I have to go through this stuff. It's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to affect you. It has to be like a big impact in your life for you to move.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I'm going with this.
You're just
I'm
sharing.
just
That's great.
that like yeah, that's when I started praying, I guess, learning how to pray.
Okay, 2 more questions.
Okay.
Were there any full circle moments you've encountered as a mom?
Full circle moment. Honestly, nothing yet because I feel like I'm learning still.
Mm.
But okay, Edgar came to my life for a reason, and God really gave me Edgar because he's like my reason that mom always say that, like she gets emotional because she thinks that like, oh, I feel like if I was living your life I would have given up. And I'm like, bro, that's so depressing, like I don't want to give up.
Yeah.
You really think that's what I think of? And mom's like, yeah, I think that if you didn't have Edgar you would have given up, but so I feel like Edgar's like your reason to like keep going. And I don't know. I feel like Edgar is your bestie, but he's my bestie. Okay.
He's your bestie first, okay? I get it.
Bestie. Like we really go through. I feel like we're growing together. Like I'm still growing as a person. I'm still growing as a mom. And
Yeah.
physically he's growing up, but for me, like emotionally, spiritually, I'm growing with him.
Mm.
So my full circle moment is just realizing that you never stop growing, even when you have your kid.
Mm.
And like I said, I'm still a type A person, but I'm glad that I don't have it all figured out, even like when I have Edgar, because he's learning a lot from my experiences too. Oh, like sometimes you have to struggle. Oh, there's some bad days. Oh, you don't have it all figured out at this age. Like, that's okay.
Yeah. He said, Mom, how old are you?
Seriously.
And you're still talking about coffee?
and you're still talking about, yes, I'm gonna talk about coffee.
We were like, whoa, bro.
My life, okay, boy.
He really came at you with that one.
And
That
he
was
thought he
so
was so
funny.
wise to be telling me that. Okay.
It's because you called him out for being 7 and saying poopy. He was like, I gotta hurt her where she loves it. You know,
Seriously. He knows me too well.
it needs to hurt.
He knows me.
He's wise. He's got some years on him. He says things that I'm just like,
Yeah, no, seriously.
where are you learning this from?
He's too
Okay.
wise for his own good.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. All right. Last question, or not even question. What is a message that you would like to give yourself?
A message that I want to give myself is that I'm proud of myself. Honestly, like I'm proud of myself for, I guess, having the heart that I have, for like trying. Because honestly, my default personality is to just crash out, lash out. So how I am now, I really have to work for. And I remember you telling me that even like the letter that you sent, that like, oh, you have so much patience. You don't know that you have so much patience, even like with Edgar and stuff. But Babs, you don't know how much demons I have to fight in me to just be patient. You know what I mean? Because it's not my default to be patient. It's not my default to stay quiet when I want to like scream. And if you just know the thoughts that I have in my head and what I act out in me is so different. You know, just rip out my old self and have God put in like a new person in me. I just tell myself like, Jenny, like I'm proud of you, you know, because I would have, if not for God, I would have been a bad mom. And Edgar has to like learn that from me.
That's a great message.
Yeah.
It'll still stand 50 years later when you look back at this. I'm
50 years later? Okay, we'll see.
50 is like what, 85?
85. Oh gosh. I hope I will still be here. I'll take what I can take from God.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me as your first person in your podcast. I feel so honored.
Of course. It was so fun.
It was so fun.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you for joining in to Full Circle. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And tell me how you feel about being a mom. Are you 27 and you're ready to be one, or are you still trying to figure it out?
I think this is such a good topic. Like a lot of people are on the same boat as you right now.
I think so too. That's why I want to talk about it. Anyways, thank you for joining, guys. Bye.
Bye.